Francis Mason, you're the Labour candidate, you're the Labour councillor for the ward of Toddbrook, but you only won this in a by-election just under 4 months ago. So what have you been able to do in 4 months?
Yes, actually, it's quite frustrating, Michael, because I've only been 4 months in post and we lost a couple of weeks with Christmas. But I've been going through training. I have a mentor, Simon Freeman, at Harlow Council. I've done licensing committee training, and I've attended licensing meetings and sub-meetings, and also scrutiny and audits, as well as dealing with the casework that we have in the Toddbrook ward, which is quite a diverse ward in itself. So, for example, today I'm standing in Bishopsfield. I attended the Residents Association meeting only a couple of weeks ago, and I'm aware of the frustrations that residents have around parking particularly, and I know that's an issue across Harlow, but recently there's been some new railings put up which has restricted a lot of parking. So what it's doing is pushing the parking problems down the road, so we're now picking up complaints from Barmead as well as other areas. One of the things that I wanted to say is I stood as a Labour councillor in December. I'm actually up for re-election as a Labour and cooperative councillor, and you might be wondering what that involves. In simple terms, for me, it's keeping the Harlow pound in Harlow, because actually I'm about community wealth building, putting the power back to the people in the community, looking at different ways to regenerate the economy within the town from a cooperative perspective, really. And there are a number in the town. I mean, I think of one, Harlow Safe, for example, is a cooperative. So there are a number of councillors in Harlow that are cooperative, but may not necessarily be standing as cooperative, but myself and Jean Clark are this year.
And have you learned, it's only 4 months in, you go to Bishopsfield Residents Association, have you learnt a lot about the communities, within the communities of your own ward?
Absolutely, because Toddbrook is so diverse. Starting at the town centre, we've got all the issues with the Terminus House, has been in the national press recently, around the development into apartments. Then we go across the road to Northbrooks, and we're coming right up to Kingsland, Willowfield, taking us to Bushy Croft, and Westfield. So Bushy Croft, although there was some anxiety around the planning, we're actually building new houses in Bushy Croft, which is absolutely paramount to us as a Labour council to try and rebuild.
And when Bushy Croft came up in front of the planning committee, it almost crystallised how some people felt. There were people who wanted to live in affordable homes, and there were other people who objected, saying, actually, I bought this house to look out on a little bit of a green wedge.
Yes.
And there are all these issues, aren't there, in Harlow, that, we go right down to the grassroots. They're very complex, but very important.
Yes, and it is important, and I say that as someone who lives on London Road with the development going on right around me, Gildon Way, etc. But actually, Harlow is growing. It's developing. We're bringing in the new companies, Public Health England. So we need to build the town with it, really. And yes, some people may be unhappy that we're building new houses, but fundamentally, as a Labour council, our priority is in, building houses, dealing with homelessness, the recent Bromley cottages, for example, to address the homelessness issue.
And you've spoken at council meetings, and you mentioned these other committees. Have you enjoyed that? Has it been an experience?
Actually, I really have. If I take, for example, the licensing subcommittees, a lot of the skills that I've had in previous employment are transferable. And actually, I feel that I am benefiting in terms of the decision making. I have attended 3 or 4 council meetings so far, and I don't hesitate. If I've got something to say, I will stand up and say it, as you recently heard in terms of the libraries, because in this ward, and not so far from this ward, we've got Great Parndon Library, Ty Green Library, and they're all critical to our community, the central hubs. And only this morning I've been out in the ward to St Paul's and meeting Reverend Harris, and the fantastic work that's going on in the community in terms of the food bank, the community groups. I'd seen similar things in the Salvation Army at Barnmead, and actually if we take away some of this community hub, we're generating more problems for our community.
Some people say that my final question, sometimes people say that politicians are all the same. What's different, would you say, about Francis Mason or Councillor Francis Mason than other politicians?
I've heard people say politicians are all the same, but actually I am me. I'm very transparent. What you see is what you get, and I reflected why I was a Labour councillor, and it reminded me that 30 years ago I was involved in the setting up of Parndon Churches Credit Union, and actually my values were very much around the community. And although in paid employment I was in a statutory role working for the community, now it's a natural progression to take those skills and bring it back to the people of Harlow, because it's a fantastic town. I came here at the age of 13. It was a new town. I came from a very underdeveloped poverty-stricken area in Lanarkshire, and quite frankly I want to see Harlow progress through the future years, and that's what I think I bring to Harlow.